Today on Sutras, we've done three classes before this, and we will continue from here, from the previous part where we covered up to the sixth session, I think. I'm getting some echo, Manisha, I think, from your side. Okay. So, let's start with the chanting. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunattu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Gananam Tva Ganpatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamasravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrinvanutibhi Siddha Sadhanam. Om Shri Mahaganpataye Namaha. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Guru Brahma Vishnu Guru Maheshwara Gururev Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Okay, so we were doing the Nyaya Sutras, and we have covered the first 6 sutras by now. So there we started with the first sutra where the enumeration of all the 16 elements that have to be studied was mentioned. Then the second sutra, which followed the first sutra, where Nishreyas, the word moksha or liberation, was mentioned. So that moksha, its attainment, how it can be possible by knowledge of these 16 categories or these 16 elements, that was enumerated, right? So then after that we went into the first of the elements, praman. So I please remember to create a copy where you can note this down. The 16 you can note on the first page, and on the next page you can start with each of them and their sub branches. So like we have this praman. So this praman, we have 4 kinds of praman. So in Nyaya we have 4 kinds of praman. So where we have this pratyaksha praman or direct perception, anuman praman or inference or deduction, upaman by comparison, and then aptupdesh shabda praman, that is the word of a experienced person or the way, both. So that will be mentioned here. You can see that. So in all of these pramanas, we get to know more about the nature of reality, the more about the nature of the elements that we are studying. And so to study all of them, we need pramanas. So a lot of systems, a lot of even later books or later works that have come up on Nyaya Sutras, they merge everything into the pramana. But that is a simplistic approach. Everyone has their own way of saying things. Of course, in every book or in every study, there is one central topic, and then it has all separate one. So we have seen the first and the second one, we saw Anuman Praman. So Anuman Praman, where by inference we deduce something, like we did with very famous example of fire. So if the fire, we can't see it directly, we can see the smoke. From the smoke we can infer that there is a fire. And then we just screen the 6th sutra. So if we have those 6 Prasid. ये हो गया प्रत्यक्ष हो गया ये अनुमान हो गया. So this is now उपमान. So प्रसिद्ध साधम्यात साध्य साधनम उपमानम. So प्रसिद्ध साधम्यात sadhana dharma is a guna or property or an distinctive feature of any element, right? So that is its dharma. So sadharmyat having a common dharma, having a common property, and prasiddh popular. So out of any two popular objects or elements, if they have a common property, you can indicate one element by another by using that common property. So that is called uh, that sadhanam, that source is called upmanam. That is the Upman Praman. Upman is knowing by comparison. So I give the example that also if someone has been bit by a thorn, then that thorn will hurt him. And if I have not been bit by a thorn earlier, so by comparison, that he will be right. So that will come when we, and especially that person want to us so more real, right? So in uh, is also used in other senses, not the sense of direct and proper. Like if I say um, there is animal in the forest which is which called guy. So it is a cow, but only thing is it has horns, right? It's like a deer. I am using the common property of cow to the guy will get a guy. Right? I can use those. Yashoda is joining. Okay. So using those common properties, I can indicate that object which is known to me by using your own object. कोई चीज जिसको हम जानते हैं उसको देख करके किसी और ऑब्जेक्ट को देखेंगे, right? So in this way we can indicate something by उपमा, indicate something that can indicate that any object known to me using properties of object identity, or I can have another animal in my house and I want to compare it with some other animal. So if I say like horse and the giraffe, like a horse, but it has a long, huge neck. So basically, of the horse in terms of an animal with four legs, and with that long neck, you are able to recognize that this thing is the giraffe. Right? So this way, by upamanam, by comparison, we can know objects, right? And then we come to the next one. So apt udeshah shabdah. Apt Updeshah Shabda. This is the seventh sutra. So I'm taking these two together. We'll discuss all of these more. So Apt Updesha Shabda is word. Shabda is word, and that is the Updesha. It is an instruction, something that is told by someone. Apt, a reliable person, someone who very trusted. So for a trusted or a reliable person, someone who says something, we trust that whatever he is saying it will be correct, right? Yeah, no, it can't be books. It can be books also. It can be the Veda also. Vedas. Yeah, so it is basically it means the Veda only. So I'm coming to that. So we'll just take the next one also because this one says it expands on that word. So sa dvividho drishta adrishta arthatva. So that we spoke in the previous sutra, the seventh sutra, that Shabda Praman, that is of two kinds. Saha Dvividho, it is of two kinds, right? So that Shabda Praman is of two kinds. Drisht, Adrisht, Arthatvat, of seen and unseen things. Right? Refers to seen and unseen things. So that Shabda Praman, it might be simply something that some reliable person has seen or experienced elsewhere. So like someone went to France and he told you there is a very beautiful white mountain and its name also is Mont Blanc. So he will describe that mountain to you. And from his description, you will accept that he's saying the truth, and there is such a mountain, and that is its name, right? So that is drishta arthatvat. And then adrishta arthatvat is what is not seen or cannot be seen by you. So that is basically the Veda. So Veda is a higher knowledge that is available to persons whose mind has been purified. When their mind has been purified, it does not dissipate its energies elsewhere. And second thing, there are two things in that higher connections. First is it is not dissipated by those other energies, and the second is that its uh, understanding or its realization of the whole universe as one for that person is very clear. So he feels everyone as inseparable from himself. He loves everyone around him. He gives to everyone around him. So for that person, that unity with the universe is more. We can feel that with with a single person also. So if a husband and a wife or a lover, two lovers, they can feel each other's thoughts, they can feel each other's pain, they can feel each other, sometimes without saying also, they can understand each other, right? So that is our sadharma, that is our attachment, that is our connection, right? So someone who feels that connection with the whole universe, he is able to reach out to every being in the universe. He is able to reach those higher planes which for normal people is not possible. And in this way, that Shabda Pramana reflects that Adrisht part, the second part, the Drisht and Adrisht are there, no? So of that, the Adrishtva, the Adrisht Artha is the subject or of whatever I'm trying to achieve or know. So when that Adrisht Arth has to be reached, it can be reached by a person of realization, a person who is at one with the universe, who does not consider himself a separate entity. The moment I place the separation curtain in front of me, I cannot connect to that higher thought. So once that connection is there, then that person can uh, get in touch. So that is why this person is able to see the things that are mentioned in the Vedas. He can experience them, and then he can tell them to other people. And as I said earlier, also that those people who have this connection, they are accepted as reliable sources of knowledge, right? So these people are then uh, they write books or they write their experiences, and when their experiences tally with the ones before them or the ones who have experienced similar things, it is accepted in common parlance as something that is true. Hmm. It is accepted that this the Vedic realization of theirs is correct. Hmm. So the Vedas basically represent all of those realizations, all of those expressions of higher thoughts, of things that we cannot experience, like heaven and mm, all those higher planes. So when these are experienced by those people with a clearer vision, that is Shabda Pramana, that we accept their word. So it can be the person, it can be the book also, it can be the Veda also. So the Veda, or accepting the testimony of the Veda, is a very important theme of Sanatana Dharma, of Hinduism. So in this, we accept this uh, Veda as being the source of correct knowledge, and from there, using that knowledge, we prove that knowledge to be correct using the other parts, which we call we divide into three parts: Shruti, Yukti, and Anubhuti. Right. So whatever I've heard from the Veda, I apply Yukti to that. I apply logic to that, and I find yes, it tallies. It is correct, and then slowly it becomes my experience also. Right. It's over a period of time in a state of meditation, that experience also comes to me. So in this way, I start to accept the testimony of Veda, and I start to accept sayings as being, even though I have not experienced it, I accept it as true. So these are the four basic pramanas, right? So in a way, some people, some of the famous logicians, they merge that all these four also into the pratyaksha only, because they say that there is only one pramana. So if Anuman is there, Anuman is also based on pratyaksha, because unless you have seen that thing earlier, unless you have seen the smoke and fire together, you cannot understand that the fire and the smoke on the hill are also same, right? So similar with Upman also. So that comparison is there because even though you have not seen, you have seen the property. What you are recognizing is not the object but the property. So that property helps you understand, recognize, or relate to a thing that you have experienced. Right? And same with Shabda. Shabda also is a direct experience. It may not be the direct experience for a common person, but it is a direct experience of a realized person, of someone who is attuned with his higher nature. So, so in this way, Shabda Praman also can be merged into Pratyaksha Praman. So actually we say there are 4 stages of the Pratyaksha Praman. But we can write them separately also. We can add also. So in some Shastras you have addition like Anuplabdhi, non-existence as a Praman. When something is not there, you can definitely conclude that the non-existence of the subject. So Anuplabdhi is there. Then there is Arthapatti. Anuplabdhi Praman is if I say that I am seeing a cube here, Rubik's cube here, it's there on the but after that someone has put it away. So I say this cube was here, but it is not here now. So the cube is not here. Its unavailability is also a praman. But that again, I have to have pratyaksha, I have to have experienced that cube, right? But if I previously experienced something, but it is not available for perception now, then I can say this it is not available. So that will be for you, for me only. It will be for me only. So Anupalabdhi will be is also accepted as it is another pramana. Then there is Arthapatti. So like in Anuman, we infer the from the cause we infer the effect, right? So in Arthapatti, from the effect we infer the cause. Reverse. Actually, some people include both of them together in Anuman only. But some people they keep it in some systems they call Arthapatti as a separate Praman. We saw in the Atma both classes also. So in Arthapatti, what is there? There was a tree in the forest. Next day you went and you saw there is a stump. So you assume that the tree has been cut down. So it was here, but it is not now. So that means someone came from the in the interim period from when I last saw it until now I am seeing the stump only. So from that I understand that the tree has been cut down by someone. That is Arthapatti. It can be in many ways, no? Like you see, there is the but there is no when I last I say like I came out at night, there was no rain. I saw in the morning the road is wet. So there must have been rain during the night. So that is Arthapatti. So all of these pramanams of these they can be included in that same category of Pratyaksha also, but you can include them separately. That is why having 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 pramanas does not mean that one Shastra is correct or the other is wrong. It means that they are just expressing different ways of enumerating these pramanas, and then also of the subject matter that they are going to explore. For some of them, the subject matter they are going to explore only those limited pramanas, but it does not need those other ones, so they are not mentioned, right? So in this way, every Shastra mentions 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 pramanas. So all of these, like what they were, all this system of description that we are talking about right now. So what we are doing is we are examining first entry or in the first draft. And what we are doing is we are to find out qualities of, and then we will try to verify whether those qualities that are described here they are exactly correct or not. So all of these, even though it is not written in the Nyaya Sutras, I just didn't say this in the beginning because I wanted you to understand through example after reading a few sutras. So basically, it was done by a lot of logicians. One of the famous one was Dharmdutt. And then there was Raghunath Shirumani. So these logicians, what they did was they enumerated a threefold process. So that threefold process that they used was in a way they call it Uddeshaha, and then uh, Uddeshaha, then second one they named was Lakshana, and then the third one was Pariksha. So Uddesha basically is naming of an entity. Uddesha basically is naming of an entity. So in any Shastra, the system followed should be such that we must name all the different categories. And then Lakshan. We should examine their Lakshanams. We should examine their features, their properties. And once you examine their features or properties, Uddesha and Lakshanam, then you do a Parikshanam. Whether the properties that I have been mentioned in the Shastram, they are always there with associated with that object, or whether they vary with time, space, or object. Whether the properties that are being mentioned, they vary from the perception of one person or another. That is examined later on. So in this Nyaya Shastra also, sometimes the first two thing appear in the same sutra only, but mostly the system is followed that first the name of the entity is mentioned, then its properties are mentioned, and then the parikshanam will come in the later part of the book, where a detailed debate is made on all of these elements, right? So just an interesting story about this Raghunath Shiromani, the one who started this system. He was one of the, he came from a very poor family, and he he started studying logic under some local teacher, who then thought that he was very bright, so he must go to another uh, higher guru. So he sent them to Pakshadhar Mishra, a very renowned logician of his time, right? And so in this way, when this Raghunath went there, this teacher was a very strict teacher. So just to to test his student, when he came, he said this guy Raghunath, he had one eye only, and in spite of that, he was very sharp and very intelligent and all that. So when he went there, he teased him about his eye, just to see how he would react. So he said that the teacher who cannot see beyond the body cannot know the strength of that student. So, and from there he understood that this kid has, the ability to give retort or give correct answers in back. Uh, uh, so he thought he would be definitely a good logician. But during the course of his studies, this student was, constantly harassed or, put down by his teacher. Whatever view he would put forth, his teacher would say, no, you are wrong. And he would dare him to, prove his views right. So much he got, disturbed by all of this constant abuse by his teacher. So one day he thought, this teacher is, torturing me too much. I will kill him. And he took a sword and he went to his teacher's house, and he thought that the moment he comes out, I'm going to kill him. And then when he was waiting outside, he overheard his teacher talking to his wife. And she was saying, look at this full moon. So can there be anyone who shines brighter than this full moon on a night? So he said, yes, there is one. There is one of my students who's very good and who shines brighter than this moon, because his intellect is very sharp, and he sometimes he knows more than me. And the moment he heard this, he started crying. He dropped his sword and he fell at his teacher's feet. And then he told him the whole story or whatever his intentions were. So the teacher told him that no, you should not misunderstand. A teacher always tries to test the ego of a student. He tries to, bring him down to understand how much strength of character he has, how much he is sure in his knowledge, how much he trusts that what he is studying or what he understood is correct. So that is why the teacher always tests his best student in the most hardest way. He is harsh towards his student. It's not that I don't love you, it's because I think that you are a good student, that I want to push you to your extreme capabilities, right? So in this way, this student then went on to become one of the great logicians of his time. So all of these, systems were done by, enumerated by later acharyas. But if you even just look at the basic structure of Nyaya Sutras in itself, it is able to tell you the whole system of examining any knowledge. कोई भी knowledge को आपने check करना, test करना, it might be of any of the darshan shastras, you will have to use nyaya. There are some, differences of ways of expressing thought. So we shall look in the next two sutras where I'll explain it to you. But the basics, they will always be the same. So the basics, whatever are, they always remain the same. And this sutra, sometimes from say Vedanta or Sangha, then that variation is due to maybe different system of expression. So start sutra and explain it upon. So Atma Sharir Indriyartha Buddhi Mana Pravritti Dosha Prityabhava Phala Dukha Pavarga Prameya. So here there are the prameyams, the objects of knowledge, the objects to be known, or what can be known through the pramanams. What can be known by the pramanams, that is enumerated here. So when we are using pramanas, what are the different ways we can, what are the different objects of right knowledge that we can know? So if you look at these 12, so these 12 are the prameyams. So these are just enumerated here, and then they will be discussed in the coming sutras. So whatever are the, when we go for any kind of knowledge, what are the different kinds of objects of knowledge that we can try to analyze? So Atma, Sharir, Indriya, Artha, Buddhi, Manah, Pravritti, Dosh, Pretyabhav, Phala, Dukha, Apavarga, Astu Premium. These are the premiums. These are the objects to be known, or these are the objects of study, or objects of right knowledge. Right? So Atma is the soul. Right? So remember here, when we are talking about Atma in Nyaya, here we are talking in the visible world, in the world that we are experiencing objects, in this what we call sansara. So in this sansara, we are talking basically Atma is the Jivatma here. So always remember that. And second thing is, because if you remember from Nyaya, then remember from Atma Bodh, sorry. If you remember from Atma Bodh, there Atma is separated into two parts, the Jivatma, the conscious part, and its association with the mind, intellect, which is the Sukshma Sharir basically, right? The mind, intellect, pranas, and etc. So here what it is doing, it is treating the whole composition as one, Jiva. It is not treating the mind and sense organs as separately, the whole as one, and then also separately, right? So Atma includes the Jiva Atma with the Sukshma Sharira. That is how it will go about explaining the nature of this Atma. This is not the total Atma or Paramatma or Brahma of the Upanishads, right? So here we are talking on a different plane. We are talking about the Vyavaharik level. We are not talking about the Paramarthic level of the Vedanta. So every Darshan Shastra has a different subject matter. According to that only they treat the different topics. So we have seen the first one, Atma, then Sharir, this body, Indriya, the sense organs, Artha, the Artha is the Indriya Artha, the sense objects, all the objects of the senses. Then Buddhi, the intellect, Manaha, the mind, then Pravritti, the tendency to act or the tendency to do something for attaining a fruit. Then Dosh, the faults, and then Pretyabhav. Pretyabhav is basically when this soul leaves this body and goes on to the next body. So in that portion, when the soul is detached from the body, it is called Pret. So in that Pret Yoni, it is then tending to look for a new body where it can enter. So that Pretya Bhav is the attainment of the next body. So whenever it is in that Yoni, the Pret Yoni, then it goes from there to the next body where it will attach itself to, and that is called Pratyabha. Going from one body to the next body, that is called Pratyabha. Then Phalaha, the fruits of our actions, whatever pravritti we do, whatever activity we do, it will give us some fruits. And then Dukha. So remember, here Sukh is not mentioned, only Dukh is mentioned. Why? Because in Sansara, Sukh and Dukh are same. So both are temporary, both will go away. So Sukh will one day convert to Dukha. So in this way, Sansara is considered Dukh Rupa only. And then Apavargaha. Apavargaha is release or moksha. So these are the 12 prameyams. These are the 12 objects of knowledge. These are the 12 that will be trying to analyze, right? So we move on to the next one. So now we have to look at the Atma. So Atma, what are the marks or what are the indications of this Atma? Ichha, Dvesh, Prayatna, Sukha, Dukha, Gyan, Jnanani is plural, and Atmanah, Lingam, Iti. So Ichha is desire, Dvesh, aversion. You can say rag or dvesh also in a different language. And then prayatna is volition, the desire to act. When you try to do something, prayatna, your effort. Then sukha, dukha. So here they are mentioned separately. So pleasure and pain. So when we look at the higher level, all these are sukha, dukha only. But when we look at the lower level, we separate them into sukha and dukha. Sukha and dukha and jnanani, knowledge. So these are Atmano Lingam. These are the qualities of the Atma. So Atma, as we seen earlier also, we have in Vedanta we saw Atma cannot have any properties, right? उसमें गुण नहीं हो सकते. Atma cannot have any gunas. But here, why are these gunas being mentioned? Because that Atma is now connected to the transactional plane. It is connected to the world. So here in the world, it is basically the Jivatma. So Jivatma will obviously, what is the basic nature of the Jivatma? It is of the nature of Ajnanam, right? Remember? So it is of the nature of Ajnanam. It is unaware of its true nature. It is unaware of its true nature, right? So this Atma being unaware of its true nature, there is 3 minutes remaining on this. We have a limited Zoom session, so we will disconnect after that and please rejoin. Okay, I'll restart the meeting after 3 minutes. So I'll just let this run till the time runs out. And then, so Ichha, Dvesh. So all of these are how they come about. Due to Ajnanam, the Atma becomes a Jivatma or a limited being, and so it is unaware of its true nature. It is unaware that it is infinite. So because it is unaware that it is infinite, then it tends to attain that infinity too. It tries to become infinite again by attaining things, by gathering things, by collecting things. And how does it collect them? Through desire, Ichha. It wants those things. So it tries to collect those things. Then again, out of the things that it brings closer to itself, it feels that some give him pain, some give him joy. So the one that give him pain, he tries to discard. He tries to throw away. So those are the ones that have for which he has this feeling called dvesha, right? So dvesha, the objects that try to limit him. So basically, sukha and dukkha are defined. Sukha is something that takes us to the unlimited, and dukkha is that tries to limit us. You see in worldly experience also, again and again, why do we feel any kind of sadness when someone tries to limit us? When someone tries to say, your parents will say, don't go out today, you have to stay inside, stay and study, you have an exam tomorrow, right? So you have been limited, you have been confined to the house, and you are very sad. So in this way, but whenever limitation comes, limitation is dukkha. When we are denied access to our favorite things, we are denied access to our favorite food, denied access to our favorite people, so that gives us dukkha. Sukha is the opposite, when we are granted access. हमें वो सब करने को मिल जाता है जो हम करना चाहते हैं. So in this way, this ichha, dvesh, then prayatna, because I have a desire, then I have to attain the object of my desire. For that I have to make some effort. So prayatna comes in, and then sukha dukha. Because of that, हाँ बेटा,
वो ना क्लब हाउस पे कबीर और एना ने ज्वाइन किया तो उनको ऊपर लेना है। आप मुझे या तो मॉडरेटर बना दो।
okay, make a moderator. Okay, you can do that now.
आना को भी लेना। प्रणाम मौसा जी, कैसे हो आप?
बस ठीक है बेटा, मैं ठीक हूँ।
बढ़िया।
Okay. So I think our time on Zoom is up. So I'm just disconnecting and I will reconnect, and then we'll continue this.
ओके,
Just give me a few seconds.
वैसे मौसा जी मेरी आवाज आ रही है? हेलो,
आ रही है जी, आ रही है।
हाँ, वो आपने आई थिंक आपने तो पढ़ा ही होगा। आई मीन, डोंट यू आल्सो फाइंड इट प्रीटी ह्यूमरस that Gautama Muni Nyaya Sutras has dedicated an entire chapter to stupidity? पूरा एक चैप्टर है जहाँ वो लिटरली बता रहे हैं कि किसको स्टूपिड कहना चाहिए।
आपकी आवाज कट रही है, आपकी आवाज कट रही है, पूरी बात
एक
पता नहीं
सेकंड,
चल रही
am I audible now? Am I audible now? अब आ रही है क्या? हाँ हाँ हाँ। तो
Kabir not audible.
हाँ, अब भी
हाँ
अब ऑडिबल हूँ ना?
हाँ हाँ
तो मैं वही पूछ रहा था मौसा जी से कि लाइक उनको भी ये ह्यूमरस नहीं लगता कि क्या नाम है, गौतम महामुनि ने न्याय सूत्रों में एक पूरा चैप्टर स्टुपिडिटी को डेडिकेट किया है।
I'll come to that. I'll come to that. If you want, I'll answer it just in short. Stupidity, देखो, everything is a part of a whole, right? So अगर हम
Yeah.
इसको बात करते हैं, फिफ्थ चैप्टर पे भी हम आएंगे. Let's not go too fast. But
I was just
अगर हम इसको,
reading
हाँ,
it today.
I'm just explaining this thing. आपने पहले भी कहीं पूछा था ये बात. So good.
हाँ हाँ
So basically क्या है कि जब हम कोई भी हम वाद विवाद करते हैं, when we are doing a debate, so we are trying to ascertain the nature of something, right? सो हम उसको पहले स्टेज में लेते हैं वाद. उसी में अगर झगड़ा हो जाए तो विवाद हो गया, ठीक है. उसके बाद आता है जल्प. तो जल्प जब आता है तो वहां पे क्या होता है कि वन पर्सन इज ट्राइंग टू प्रूव द अदर रॉन्ग बाय यूजिंग दो अदर मीन्स दैट आर रॉन्ग, जिसको हम छल, जाति और निग्र स्थान, हम इस पे आएंगे धीरे धीरे. तो छल, जाति और निग्र स्थान में हम जब जाते हैं, वी आर यूजिंग व्हाट वी कॉल अनफेयर मीन्स, या जिसको हम इंग्लिश में कहते हैं या लॉजिक में वहां कहते हैं लॉजिकल फैलेसीज. वी यूज दोज लॉजिकल फैलेसीज. हमने डिबेट को जीतना है, किसी भी हालत में जीतना है, राइट. सो दोज जब हमने डिबेट्स को जीतना है तो वो सारी जो हम ट्रिक्स को यूज करते हैं, सो वहां हम क्या कर रहे हैं, what we are doing is we are trying to win an argument even if it is appearing wrong to us. We are trying to win that argument.
Yes.
तो किसी भी तरीके से. उसके बाद जो उसकी भी ऊपर की स्टेज आती है या उससे नीचे की स्टेज आती है, वो होती है वितंडा. वितंडा में क्या होता है, हमारा कोई स्टैंस ही नहीं है, हमने सिर्फ सामने वाले को गलत प्रूव करना है, ठीक है.
हाँ,
तो
जैसे मंदन मिश्र ने किया था आदिशंकर के साथ एक टाइम के बाद.
जी. तो ये काफी जगह हुआ, एक ही जगह एग्जांपल नहीं है, बहुत सारी डिबेट्स में ऐसा हुआ. और ये एक्चुअली इट वाज एक्सेप्टेड आल्सो. तो कहीं कहीं एक्सेप्ट भी होता था कि ठीक है आपने जीतना है. तो जैसे बौद्धों के साथ डिबेट हो रही है, वहां पे आपस में हमारे सिस्टम की डिबेट हो रही है, तो कहीं कहीं ये यूज होता था, क्योंकि वो सिस्टम्स चाहते थे कि हमें नीचा दिखाएं या अपने को सही दिखाएं या उनको फॉलो करें लोग. सो देयर दैट टेक्निक वाज यूज्ड very frequently and commonly.
Yes.
सो वहां पे क्या ये जो था, देर इज यू हैव व्हाट इज वितंडह, बेसिकली वहां पे आपने किसी तरह से भी सामने वाले को हराना है, यू हैव टू डिफीट, यू डोंट हैव योर ओन पोजीशन आल्सो समटाइम्स, ओनली योर ओनली पोजीशन इज टू प्रूव द सेकंड वन रॉन्ग. सो वही वो स्टुपिडिटी में आता है, जब
हाँ.
तुम फिफ्थ में चैप्टर में जाओगे कि
हाँ.
वहां पे कि वी शुड बी अवेयर वाइल डिबेटिंग कि दूसरा बंदा, व्हाट द अदर पर्सन इज गोइंग टू ट्राई दिस ट्रिक्स टू डिफीट अस, and so we should have a counter ready for those tricks, या फिर
Yes.
we should be able to understand how to put those tricks in perspective, right? So we should be able to tell कि हाँ, you are indulging in a logical fallacy which is called say appeal to authority. So आप किसी एक बंदे को कह रहे हो कि ये सही है, and he made a wrong sentence, yet you, because you accept that person as आप the person, as a wise person, you accept his wrong statement also, using that you used it to prove a wrong proposition. So in this way you can use that. When you tell him that you have caught him in his lie or you have caught him in his tricks, then you will be able to counter it, right? So that is the why the chapter of stupidity is, right? So
Yes.
we'll come to that, we'll analyze it. It's a very interesting one.
I mean,
We'll
yeah,
come to
I have a habit of doing this trick again and again. So I just wanted to point that out.
yeah. Nice. Okay, so then we come to the next. So as we saw here, Ichha Dvesh. Manisha, you joining on? Okay. Manisha is joining on Zoom also. Good. So we are looking at the indicators or the properties of the Atma. So as we've seen in Vedanta, we accept that Atma has no properties. वहाँ गुण नहीं हो सकते. But here we are seeing properties. What is the explanation? The explanation simply being that here what we are talking about is the Atma in the limited plane, in the samsara, as a Jivatma. And as not just as the Jivatma which is described in Vedanta as a part of the Atma, which appears separate but is not separate, but in association with the Sukshma Sharira. So that is the position of Nyaya only. So when we are talking about the Vyavharik plane, then Nyaya will take the Vyavharik. It is always talking about the Vyavharik plane. Nyaya is not going to go into the Paramarthik level. Its subject is this much. So physics cannot enter into the realm of chemistry, or it cannot enter into the realm of biology. There might be some crossing points where you can put forward your thesis, but overall all these darshan shastras, they inspect certain areas of study. So in मिल करके ये total reality को describe करते हैं. Combined they describe a total reality, but in separation they might appear contradictory, but they never are contradictory. Remember that there have been millions of debates about one is wrong, other is right. All are based on this kind of misunderstanding of the darshan shastras. Wherever you bring it up, I challenge you, I will show it to you that this thing is not that it is wrong here, but it's just a different way of saying it, right? So we will see that when we go through the whole text. So here what we are seeing is the Atma connected with the Sukshma Sharira or the Jiva Atma. That is what is described here as the Atma here. So the Atma in the Vyavharika plane. So here, as we saw, Atma, because it is due to Ajnanam or ignorance, it starts to feel itself as limited. So it has these properties, Ichha. So because it is limited, it has desires. Then I'll take Prayatna next, because of desire, it tends to make efforts to achieve what is the object of its desire, right? And then you have Dvesha, because when it tries to attain those objects of its desire, it has some objects that are not conducive to its desires. So those he will have Dvesha for, those he will have aversion for, hatred for. So उनसे उनका नफरत होगी, तो उसको दूर करने की कोशिश करेगा. So it will try to remove those objects from his life as far as possible. And then Sukha Dukha. Sukha, as we said, Sukha is basically the expression of infinity, the expression of attainment, or the expression of fulfillment of desire. And Dukha is restriction of your desires. So whenever you are restricted from your true nature, which is infinite, you will have Dukha. And whenever you are allowed to express your true nature, which is infinite, when you are allowed to enjoy the objects of your desire, that is Sukha. So in this way, both of these are actually sukha and dukkha are expression of our infinite nature only. And then Gyanani. So Gyanani in the plural, because in the Vyavharik plane, we are not talking about the highest Atma Gyanam, where the Gyan is not bordered or not divided by the Triputi, the knower, known, and the object. So there, that is the highest one. But here, what is this Gyana? It is a object related Gyana. It is a knowledge of objects around us. So that is why it is there in the plural. So, Gyanani, knowledge about the objects, knowledge about even the Jivatma itself. It's the nature of the Jivatma as is being discussed here. And all the uh, components of the Jivatma, the Indriyas and so on that we saw in the Prameyams, the 12 Prameyams that we saw in the 9th Sutra. So, in of those 12 Prameyams, Atma, Sharir, Indriya, Artha, Buddhi, Manaha, Pravritti, Dosh, Pretyabhav, Phala, Dukha, and Apavarga. These 12 prameyams, they can all be known. So all the knowledge of all these 12 is Jnanani. The knowledges, plural in the knowledges. So in this way we can know all of these 12 prameyams. So and then Sukha, Dukha, Jnanani, Atmanaha, Lingam. That Atmano Lingam is basically a Sandhi rule. So Atmanaha, then by Sandhi it becomes Atmano. And Lingam, they are the indicators, they are the pointers. So basically the Atma or the Jiva Atma is one. That is the one that will be running this body. That will be running the activities of this body, because within it reside all those Ichha, Dvesh, Prayatna, Sukha, Dukha, Adi, Atmano. So these are the ones that we are talking about, the Atma. And we'll just link it with the next one and then we'll conclude for today. I'll just go on to the 11th Sutra. I'm not going too much into detail because there is such a lot to discuss here, but we have done this earlier also, and I think we don't need to go into all of the details of these, parts of the Atma or parts of the body also. So, Cheshtendriya Artha Ashraya Shariram. So, Cheshta Indriya Artha Ashraya Shariram. So, what is the Sharir? What is the Sharir? It is the Ashraya. It is the abode. It is the house. From where the all the expressions of the Atma can be done, from where the expressions of the Indriyas, the sense organs can be done. So because of the body only, we are able to experience the world. We are able to, it is the abode of the soul and the Indriyas, and from there they function. If the body is not there, the Indriyas and the soul will not be functional. It will remain in a dormant or nascent state where it will be looking for the next body, which we saw in that term Pretyabhav. So Pretyabhav will come to later. So this Sharir is basically the ashray for the cheshta of the Indriya. It is basically the abode for the efforts that are being done by the sense organs and the Atma. Atma in conjunction with the Indriyas. So it is the ashray for them. So basically we have seen here up till now the two of them, Atma and Sharir, which of the two prameyams to be known. So these will be known later on in more detail in the coming sutras. So I'm not taking up these topics right here, but basically you know a bit about Atma or Jivatma from the other classes, and I think most people know that through other readings also. So and since we'll cover this more later on, we'll go into this. So basically, when we are looking at all of these two properties of the body and the Atma, they are basically enumerating that because of Ajnanam, this Atma thinks it is incomplete, it tends to do activities, and those activities, for that it needs a medium. That medium is the body. So the body is the one to which the fruits of our action come, where we enjoy the fruits of our action, where we hold the objects of our desire, where we hold the object that we have attained through our prayatnam, attained through our efforts, right? So that is why that is the ashray of the, that is why it is the ashray, it is the abode. So ashray bolte ghar ko, a house. So our body is also like a house. So that is how it is expressed here. So next sutra will go into the details of the indriyas. So right today I think the time is up for today's class. So pick couple of questions if someone wants to ask, and then we'll wind up for today. Any doubts from today or anything you'd like to add or ask?
There's a question in the chat.
Okay. Can you read it out?
What kind of logical fallacies are mentioned?
That is a huge topic. I think we'll come into it later on, because this is something I don't want to precede the topics. Something that will come up later on anyway. So logical fallacies, the ones that you can read online also in modern logic, they are present. So in Nyaya there are a few more, and then some are not included, some are combined together. So basically, logical fallacy is something that it is a trick or a tactic we use to defeat an opponent by using means that are not fair.
Masaji, if you allow, can I just
Yeah.
give a brief answer on that? The
Yeah,
logical
yeah.
fallacies one.
Mhm.
I mean, if you allow, then.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So, as far as I remember, the Nyaya Sutras, Adhyaya 5, Pada 2, Sutra 1, Gautama is listing almost 22 argumentative fallacies that makes one lose a debate, which he calls as
Yeah.
nigrasthanas or clinchers. And he says them as प्रतिजन ही प्रतिजंतरम प्रतिजन विरोध प्रतिजन समयसो हेतवेत्रम अंतत्रम निरक्तम अजिदंतरम अपर्थम अप्रतम न्यूमाधिकम पुरनक्तम अनुभाषणम अज्ञानम अप्रतिभा विक्षेपो मतनुजा पर्यानुपेक्षणम Haitavibhasha Nirghasana, which means violating proposition, shifting proposition, contradicting, renouncing, shifting the probense, irrelevancy, meaningless jargon, unintelligibility, incoherence, incompleteness, redundance, confessions of a contrary opinion, also known as apadadosham, overlooking, and then fallacious probense. As far as I remember, these were all the ones. The total 22. I just remember a few 10 or
Yeah.
15 of them.
Yeah, there, that is there, right? You are so that is what I said. We'll come to that later on, and then we can do a comparison there, that what are there in modern, modern logic. So here in modern logic also we have about 15 to 16 logical fallacies, but yes, they don't exactly intersect. Remember that some of them have a different meaning, and a shade of meaning different. Not all are not important. There are few that are more important because they are the ones more regularly used. Hmm. So when we go into those, we should as you said, stupidities are mentioned in the 5th chapter. So these are actually I would not use the word stupidities. The exact term is logical fallacies. So logical fallacies, as well as any other kind of tricks that are used to win an argument. So all these that will come up into the later chapters. So that is a long way away. So I think we wind up for today. Any questions, anything else? This one I'm leaving open for later on. Anything else in the chat, Manisha? I didn't check the chat here.
No, nothing else.
Nothing.
A
Okay.
question is, Guruji, do Nyayikas accept Vyavarika Darshana or Vyavarika Pratishthanam? Reality.
Nyaya, basically it is an exposition of Vyavaharik only, but that does not mean that they don't accept Paramarthik also. You will find Paramarthik also in Nyaya, but basically that description is beyond the scope of Nyaya. It will just give you a basic assertion, a basic knowledge of the nature of the infinite Atma. It will go there, of course, we'll come to that, but it will not go into detailed exposition or discussion like we do in Vedanta. So basically, as I said, all of these darshan shastras, the 6 of them, they are exploring different parts of the same reality. So if you are talking about Nyaya, it is logic. Since it is coupled with Vaisheshik, which is discovering or describing the micro world. So the micro world or the Vyavaharik plane at the individual level. Then at the total level, we have Sankhya. Then again, at the mental level, we have yoga. And then again, in terms of karma or action, we have Karma Mimamsa, and then finally Vedanta, where we are exploring at the Paramarthik level. So all of them have different, subject matter. They all mention the remaining matters also in short, but they keep their discussion to their own subject matter. So, like I said, chemistry will not discuss physics. Physics will not discuss maths. They have some intersection point where they can mention those topics, but they will not describe in more detail. But what has happened is over the years, some Nyayikas, they have tried to describe that in their own systems. They have tried to use a different language from what the sutras themselves are saying, and that has created a lot of confusion. But in India, always debates are welcome. So debates have always added to knowledge. So we don't treat any kind of what we call negative views as something to be avoided. We treat all kinds of debate as something positive will come out, some new knowledge will come out. Even if someone is criticizing someone, so like when basically for Nyaya Sutras, we saw that for Vedanta there are a lot of translations available, right? But in for Nyaya there are not many translations, but that does not mean that there are not many works. There have been so many works on Nyaya, almost 1,000 original books in Sanskrit. But what happened was, due to the destruction of our system after the British system, we have given it up. So right now those original Sanskrit works have stopped coming. So because of that, our total system has changed. So in earlier times, knowledge was not a monetary thing. So knowledge was not related only to money. Knowledge was related to becoming wiser, to have your behavior in the world in a better manner, and it was not a means of making money. So like today, you have everyone wants to be a doctor and an engineer, but in that time, that knowledge was common and it was taught to everyone. And there were gurukulas where that was every, even poor and rich, everyone alike, they went and attended them. And because the king sponsored them, they were not about money. The teacher also, they subsisted on minimum amount of money and everything else. And so that was a system. But the money part was what we call in those times jati. So where we have a certain profession. So that profession was passed from generation to generation, and that profession was taught by one member of the family to the next, and the new generations, they added to that knowledge. So if even a simple thing like pottery, in different areas of India, you will find different expressions, different ways, different objects, different products. So a lot of those we have lost now, right? So we have to learn to separate the two, profession from this pure knowledge. So this pure knowledge of philosophy, it was earlier a very common thing in India, but now it is now totally finished. So, but what has happened is it is still being taught, and it is being taught to people who then go out from here to foreign countries, and then they get value for this knowledge. Or then when they don't get value for this knowledge in India, they turn to this, leftist philosophies, and then they tend to even betray the nation for or sell their soul for money, just because the knowledge that they have learned is not getting him the money, letting them earn money. So that is how the system has become. But we have to if you have to keep continuing with this knowledge, try discussing with all your groups and friends how to keep on passing on this knowledge. And relating to your job, you make your job separate from this knowledge. This knowledge is meant for your behavior in the world, so that your behavior is the best towards all around you. Right? So I think we'll wind up today's class, and we'll continue in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Okay, thank you, Bacho. Thank you all for coming. Really enjoyed being with
Thank you,
you.
Masaji.
Okay, have a wonderful day and a wonderful week ahead. See you next week. Bye. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.